Whether or not the Ableton Push 3 controller is worth it for you depends on several factors, including budget, experience level with Ableton Live, ultimately your production goals. In this video, I'll unpack the pros and cons of purchasing an Ableton Push 3 controller. This will help you decide if it is worth it for you or not. Let's start on a positive note and look at all the pros. First pro is the deep integration with Ableton Live. Push 3 is specifically designed for Ableton Live. This ensures seamless integration between the controller and the program. The Push 3 also comes as a standalone unit, which also benefits from this seamless integration. You can easily transfer files that you make on the Push 3 to Ableton Live to be expanded upon later, and vice versa. You can then transfer files and projects from Live to the standalone unit to work on elsewhere. Having this seamless integration can significantly improve your workflow and your creative possibilities. As you can see here on the interface, we have some shortcuts to things that usually we have to menu dive in Ableton Live, such as hot swap, save, undo. We have rotary controls, fixed length options, which fixed length recording is not actually available in Ableton Live. So this controller unpacks a whole new loop-based recording system. We have the ability to convert audio files directly into simpler and drum rack instruments via one button. We also have MIDI capture at our fingertips here, so we can just jam out a beat, press MIDI capture, and then the beat is there all quantized for us, which is super quick, opening up creative possibilities and massively improving your workflow. Also, the Push 3 promotes a standalone option. Having the standalone version of the Push enables us to have all the benefits of Ableton Live as a program in a portable box that we can take out of the studio, away from the computer, and create music and then open it up within Live at a later date to expand. If you work exclusively within Ableton Live, the Push 3 will significantly improve your workflow. As said before, it has a lot of logically laid out buttons that will help you speed up your workflow within Ableton Live and also within the Push standalone version. Some new additions to the Push 3 from the Push 2 are these jog wheels here, which you can go in and quite quickly scroll through the menu, dive from left to right, press to select. So you have select button in between the arrows, which you didn't have before. Then we have some other encoders here, which can really speed up your workflow. So now we're on a high. Let me bring you back down to earth and talk about the cons of this device. First one is the price. It's very high in comparison to other grid-based controllers that can integrate with Ableton Live. This is on the kind of luxurious side. We're talking standalone version at present for UK pounds is about 1,700. And the controller version is about £800-900. So this could affect your decision on whether to get a Push 3, depending on your budget, and if you actually need all these extra features. Next thing is the learning curve. With all these buttons and all these possibilities comes with a steep learning curve. Now the Push is an instrument and you need to build up muscle memory, you need to spend time with it, learn it, develop it. If this is something you're struggling with, you can check out my Ableton Push 3 course. So there's a link to it in the description. So if you do want to unpack all the possibilities of the Push 3 controller, check out that course. It will really help you out. With that said, all these amazing features might not be necessary for everyone. This is where you have to think about, do you need the portability of the standalone, or is this going to be a centerpiece in your studio? Do you need all these extra features around here? That's where you need to think about your production goals and ultimately what you're looking for out of an Ableton Live controller. Last con is like the opposite of the first pro, which is its compatibility. Like I said in the first pro, and it seamlessly integrates with Ableton Live. If you're working in another DAW, you're going to have some problems here. There is a user mode which hasn't really been developed too much just yet. So this may impact your decision if you want a controller that not only works in Ableton Live, but also works seamlessly in other DAWs. This one is not going to be for you. So those are my main pros and cons with the Ableton Push 3 controller. If you have any other pros or cons you would like to share with everyone, please stick them in the comments. They would also be great to hear. So there are some additional points to consider when thinking about if the Ableton Push 3 is worth it or not. If you're quite an inexperienced Ableton Live user, maybe all these extra features are a bit overkill for you and actually you don't need all of them. You might get lost trying to figure out what button does what and ultimately end up walking away more confused than actually creative. Also, you might want to consider the alternatives, which is we have Akai APC, we also have the new Akai controller, we have the Launchpad Mini, we also have the Launchpad Pro. Some of them have more features on the interface than others, but then a lot of them come in at different price points. The cheapest being the Launchpad Mini, which comes in at about £80, which only has these grid-based buttons. That might be sufficient for you. Ultimately, the decision to whether the Ableton Push 3 is worth it or not comes down to your individual needs and budget. I recommend checking out user reviews, YouTube demonstrations and tutorials, like this playlist here, and trying the Push 3 out in person if possible before you'll make your decision.